Tyndale is coming out with quite the variety of Bibles. In this video, we're looking at a Bible that is in a super giant print. And if you look on the side of the box here, it is a brown leather-like cover that we're looking at here. And here's the text size. The back of the box does tell you that this is a 16-point font. And those are some of the other features. Another nice thing about a lot of the Bibles from Tyndale right now is that they are Filament app enabled. In other words, that you can use this Filament app that they have come out with the Bible, and that allows you to look up different study materials through this app that will guide you as you study the Bible. That is a really nice feature. This Bible does come with a two-piece box, and it retails for $60. And looking at this cover here, it is, as it said, a leather-like cover. They do a really good job with these. Has a really beautiful look to it. I like the different shades of brown that you see there. And it is a synthetic or imitation leather material, but I think it seems pretty sturdy. And you see here it is perimeter stitched. The spines on a lot of these NLTs have a very clean look to them. Not too busy, you just have some information at the top here. And then what I do like about this style of spine is that when you're holding it, you have all this space here and you're not going to be rubbing off any of the lettering there, because this is where you're most likely to be holding it a lot. On the back here, they do have the ISBN number printed. So really nice look to this. They do have other cover options available if you'd like to get a different color. They also have, with this Bible, a angle cut ribbon. It's just a single-sided ribbon. So there's a sheen on this one side, but not the other. But it does suffice. I know a lot of people, especially with a Bible this size, would probably like at least 2 ribbons. When you get to the inside of the Bible here, and this is really good to see, this is not a paper paste down. This material here looks like more of a vinyl type paste down. So you have that for the liner here, the paste down liner, and this end sheet. And then they do have a presentation page. Looks very nice. On the back it says, "Your word is a guide to my feet and a light for my path." Psalm 119, 105. And we have the title page and the publisher title page. And this QR code is what you can scan with your phone or tablet to link this particular edition of the NLT with the Filament Bible app that I talked about earlier. We got the copyright page here. And this is printed in China in this year that I'm recording this, 2022. Here are some of the other cover options, as well as some indexed options if you prefer to have the indexes for the books of the Bible on the sides of the pages. Here are the contents. The introduction to the New Living Translation. So we're going to look at the giant print, or what they call the super giant print for this Bible. But I will say even the introduction has pretty good size print here. And then we get into the Old Testament, the title page for the Old Testament. And here it is. So the book titles have a little bit of an italicized type font. And then they do have section headings in bold print. The chapter numbers in bold. The verse numbers in the Bible don't particularly stand out. You can find them, but they're not bold. You do see here it is a double column paragraph format. And this supergiant print font, again, is a 16-point font. So it is line matched. That does help with readability. because there is definitely ghosting in the paper here, but they're trying to fit obviously a lot inside of this volume in such a large font. So I think for people that really do have some eye problems, for a lot of people, this would suffice. This is very readable. That print is nice and bold from what I see here. When you get to the poetic setting, you do see they have stanza setting for poetry. So very straightforward. It's not a reference Bible. There are no cross references in here. This is really about just having the biblical text. They do have some translator notes. On certain pages you will see at the bottom corner of the page here, translator notes. Now you'll notice that those notes are actually in a lot smaller size print than the biblical text. So if you really have eye problems, that could be an issue. But that's kind of to be expected with a Bible like this. They have to save space somewhere. But the most important thing is that the biblical text is nice and large. So I would be very excited to give this as a gift. If you wanted to give a gift like this to someone who had eye issues, this would be a wonderful addition for them to have. What I'm really impressed by is that you have this really good size font, and yet the Bible is still something you can hold in your hand. It is a little on the large side, but it's not absolutely huge. It's not ginormous. It's just a little bit on the large side. I feel like I've seen large print Bibles that are around this size, but this is a super giant print. So really well done, Tyndale. Getting through the Old Testament here. After the Old Testament, we have the New Testament title page. And then as we get into the book of Matthew, you will see that this does have a red letter text for the words of Christ. So looking at this here, I do think they did a very good job with this red letter print. It's not too bright or pinkish or anything. It's more that cherry red color, and I think it's very readable. Obviously, the black print is going to probably be easier on most people's eyes, but if you do like the red letter for the words of Christ, this Bible does have that feature, and I do actually think it's still very readable, and it looks like the red print is quite consistent, so that's wonderful to see. So it looks to me like this Bible is just really well done. Let's see what we have in the back here. After the book of Revelation, we have the Tyndale Verse Finder. Now the font for this is not particularly large. It's maybe a little bit larger than some of their other Bibles, I guess. But they do have that verse finder, which gives you different topics and passages that you can look up related to those topics. And I always say that with Tyndale New Living Translation Bibles, these are particularly good Bibles to give to new Christians or young people, because the translation itself is very accessible, easy to understand, but also they do tend to have helps that are really useful for people that are new to the Bible. As I said, the Bible app, but also this section in the back here, and then they also have this visual overview of the Bible on this glossy cardstock paper, or semi-gloss cardstock paper, and that's a really nice feature in a lot of their Bibles. And this just gives you a nice visual representation of different portions of the scripture. Helps you to understand the flow of the whole Bible in a visual manner, which is really nice for those visually oriented people. So really wonderful what you're getting in this Bible, as I said, in quite a holdable format. Let me give you the measurements here. So this is just an estimate, but it's about 10.5 inches by a little less than 7.5, maybe 7 3/8 inches. And then the spine is a little over 1.5 inches, maybe like 1 5/8 inches. So a little bit on the large side, but not absolutely huge. You really can hold this Bible. I've definitely seen Bibles trying to do this sort of thing that are even larger and probably a little bit too large in my opinion. So this to me is a really good balance. I think they were able to get a lot into this volume. By the way, I didn't mention it before. You can see with the color scheme there, the gold gilt page edges. And one other thing I will do is just compare this to another edition that is available. They have the giant print personal size that I've reviewed on my channel before. And I'll just show you the comparison here of these sizes. So this is a giant print personal size, and then we've been looking at the super giant print. And so I'll show you what they look like in comparison. We've got the 16-point font here, and this one has a 12-point font. So I'm really impressed with the New Living Translation, Tyndale, putting out Bibles that are really readable for people, especially people who might have a hard time reading small print. So good job, Tyndale. I really like this edition. I think it's going to be very useful for people that need something with that nice large font. Something to keep in mind too, just as a bonus here, I want to mention that when it comes to the size of the print, first of all, they're comparing to other Bibles. So supergiant print is in comparison with the typical Bible size font. The other thing is it's in proportion to the size of the Bible. So sometimes a Bible will say large print compact, and that simply means that for a compact Bible, it's large print. But when you open it, you may find that that print is not actually all that large. In this case, though, you do have a 16-point font. I'd say that's a pretty good size for a lot of people. If you have any other questions or comments about this Bible, feel free to leave that in the comment section. But thank you so much for taking a look at this with me from a fresh perspective.